what's the easiest way to help local businesses? Well, we're going to step through today what local businesses' pain points are. It's vital that we have a strong understanding about what are they experiencing? What are the obstacles in their way from reaching success? Because we want to be the person that leads them to the path of success within their business so we can have success in ours, right? So in order for us to do that, we need a strong understanding about what they're facing. What are they up against? And they're up against a lot, but the good news is that within the BoomerangMe platform, we can really help them to knock out some of these obstacles and overcome them so that they can be successful in their business. So let's hop right into it. The things that we're going to cover in this video are what are the obstacles of small business owners? Get your pen and paper out because we're going to want to take some notes here because you're going to want to craft your offer to be the solution to these types of problems. The other things that we're going to discuss today is then, how do loyalty clubs help in general? Because, loyalty clubs do exist outside the BoomerangMe platform. Why do they exist? Why do people use them? What are the benefits of the loyalty club in general? But then why and how does BoomerangMe serve the small business above and beyond having a loyalty club, because a loyalty club, as you're about to learn, really falls short from the full picture. It's just a piece of the puzzle instead of solving the puzzle. So we're going to discuss those things. So that is the purpose of today's video. Let's hop right into the pain points of small businesses. There's probably more than the 4 that I'm going to discuss here today. Actually, I'm going to throw a 5th one and that just popped into my brain. That's pretty high on the priority list. So we're going to talk about 5 pain points today. There are probably a few more, but these are the 5 pain points that are a little more umbrella, right? So they might have smaller ones underneath. So keep that in mind. So the first one we're going to talk about is they have a lot of competition. It doesn't matter what area or service that they're in, they're up against a lot of competition, whether it be restaurants, that one's a no-brainer, whether it be car detailers, retail, it doesn't matter. They're all up against not just a lot of competition within the small business world, but they're also up against a great deal of competition from like large franchises from the man, right? And so they are very limited though on what resources they have at their disposal. And many times they paint themselves into this box or put themselves into this corner where they feel like the only way to compete with larger corporations is by spending a exuberant amount of money, and they don't have that, so therefore they do nothing. And so we are going to walk in and we're going to solve this problem directly because of this platform. It really takes a small business owner and brings them up substantially so that they have a chance to start to compete with the larger franchises without emptying their pocketbooks. So that's one of the primary pain points you want to make sure that you focus in on. Every small business owner, that one will hit home with, okay? Also, they're struggling with low customer retention. So what this means is the businesses that we're going to be serving are businesses that rely heavily on repeat customers. So whether that be a restaurant industry, whether that be nail salons, retail industry, car detailers, house cleaners, it doesn't matter. They need consistent repeat business, right? And so many times they really struggle with that aspect. They might have a percentage that are repeat customers. I work very closely within the restaurant industry, and I very commonly will hear, we really rely on about 15 to 20% of our customer base being repeat customers. Without them, we wouldn't be able to survive. So because of this platform, I can look at them and say, well, what if we increase that number from 20% to 40, 50%, what would that do for your business? And got those 20% to come back in even more frequently. Well, they're like, I'm listening, right? So that's a pain point that you can touch on when you're talking with them in order to really speak their language and understand what is it that they're struggling with and how can you help. The other thing I want to touch on there is that for them to keep their customer, it costs substantially less money for them than if they were to focus their attention on acquiring new customers. We're talking 5 to 7 times less expensive. So the investment within a loyalty program, especially one at the level of the BoomerangMe service offers, is incredibly less expensive than running paid ads and different campaigns and wondering if they work, which leads me to one that I'm squeezing in here that I thought of just as we started recording. And that is many small business owners have no way to put an offer, like a campaign, like a marketing campaign out into the world and be able to track it, the efficiency of it themselves, and know how much money and revenue did I generate from that campaign. And so they just end up guessing or relying on the salesperson who came in and sold them on marketing on Meta or marketing in mailers or marketing in a magazine or whatever the case may be, to tell them how successful their campaign was for X number of dollars. Well, we can actually look them in the eye and say, that one you only made about $75. This one you made $1,000. Let's move that money over here, right? And so it gives them the power to leverage that. So that's one of the major pain points. Another one would be the lack of marketing resources. They invest in their POS system, they invest in whatever they need to run and manage their business, but they don't think to and make an investment in a marketing system that works for them. And they are many, many times so busy running their small business that adding marketing to their plate is just something that they cannot manage. And so in walks us, right? We're going to solve that pain point as well. And then the last one that we're going to cover, because I told you we're going to do 5, the last one we're going to cover is inconsistent revenue. They can't predict a good day from a bad day. They can't have any control over if it is starting to get a little bit slow, how to boost that up. None of that. So they're just at the mercy of the wind. They're at the mercy of the sales wind, right? Like they have no control over that situation. So those are some of the major pain points of small businesses. Let's get into how do loyalty clubs then impact small businesses, and because they do work and they're out there, they've been out there a long time. It's not necessarily a new concept to have a loyalty program. It's just that now businesses are starting to learn that loyalty programs can be quite lazy. So we're going to get into that in a moment after this, but here's how loyalty programs actually benefit those small businesses. It does encourage repeat business. There is definitely science behind rewarding customers for positive behaviors that we want them to repeat, right? And it works well for our kids. Little stars on the refrigerator. It's no different for them punch cards. It's all the same concept. We want to win. We want to earn and unlock things. And a little girl math, free anything is amazing, right? And so, it's just natural human behavior to really want to be rewarded. And so it does encourage those repeat visits and influence the behavior of our customers, right? But also loyalty programs can create anyway, automated engagement. So depending on the loyalty club, if it's paper, it doesn't do this at all, falls completely short of this. If it's digital, where they're collecting some contact information, then, possibly the small business can send those reminders and have those automated messages. But I've got to tell you, through my experience through the past 4 years, anytime that a small business has a loyalty program and they're running it through their POS system, most of the messaging that goes out requires them to be a manual process. And so it doesn't get done at all. And it's actually a gross number of how minimal. Nobody goes in there and actually sends or uses their contact information. So this again is going to be a way that we're going to outperform their POS loyalty program. Another one is that it collects valuable customer data. This one probably should have came first. I always tell my customers or my prospects, loyalty clubs are just the foundation of a strong marketing platform, because it gives us that eye candy, that excuse to collect that customer contact information, and then it allows us to provide a solution, right? So it really is the foundation, but collecting customer contact information is incredibly important. Most small businesses are relying heavily on social media. Yet, what is social media doing? Only showing their content to about, if they're lucky, 10% of their following, right? So they're not actually reaching their people. We could go into a whole soapbox of how customer data is valuable, but it puts them into a place of control with their messaging and who receives it versus relying on social media is something else, or paying for advertising in order for that communication to go out. So, and the way that loyalty programs can help small businesses is it does give them a competitive edge. So if you are offering a loyalty program and this identical store down the street is not, guess what? And if I'm part of your loyalty program, I'm probably going to be incentivized to come to you instead of the other place, because the other place doesn't give me rewards, right? So it really does give them a slight advantage. So let's talk now about what to me is more important. How's BoomerangMe going to help you outperform things that already exist and outperform it in a way that really solves those pain points that we discussed first in this video? So number one, BoomerangMe really is a set it and forget it platform. So once it's set up for your customer, it runs on its own. It doesn't require a lot of attention. Remember, one of our pain points was marketing programs were outside of their reach, right? And they also are falling short of actually utilizing customer information. Well, with this automated system, once we get it set up for them and customize all the messaging and things of that nature, now it runs on their own. So the way I word this with them is I usually lean in and I say, that way, when your things are swamped at the office and you just can't get out of working in your business, you at least know that some marketing is going out there, reminding your customers to come in and actively working for you. And that's how I kind of word it when I'm talking with my customers in order to solve that pain point. Okay. So just saying set it and forget it, that doesn't really hit home. It's when I lean in and put them into this story, I paint this picture where they can very easily put themselves in, right? Because it's very common for them to be so busy working in the business that they can't work on the business. And now they're like, oh, but at least messages are going out, right? And so it really solves that problem right there. Another way is it's easy for the end user. I'm not going to use the word customer because I don't want to get confused here. The end user is your customer's customer, right? And so I am getting feedback from, local restaurant owners and local business owners, that the feedback from their customers is that they love it because it's easy. They don't have to worry about remembering a paper card, which everyone forgets, which business owners have to replace constantly, or go fishing. And this is another way that I word it. Your customers do not have to go fishing for an email or a text message to look up what their points are or their things. It's right there on their phone. It's super easy for your customers. So that helps to solve that pain point of, again, technology at their fingertips and things of that nature. And again, they can easily paint that picture of what that is going to look like for their customers and how it impacts how their small business is viewed. Also, marketing automation. We kind of talked a little bit about that with the set it and forget it aspect, but I want to hone in on this a little bit further, because in our next video, we're going to talk about providing a strong sales system, a strong sales solution for your customers. And having a strong marketing automation system, you're going to find and discover is vital for the small business owner. So these are things like sending reminders to their customers. So another example, when I'm in a pitch meeting of a story that I will share with them, I share as many stories, paint as many pictures of real life examples as I can, is that, if you have a paid advertisement out there, maybe you decide to try mailers. And so, busy day, they come home from work, they check their mail, they come in, they're putting it on the counter, they're starting dinner. And so as the noodles are boiling, they grab that stack of mail and they're flipping through. They do see your advertisement. Neat. They're excited. They set it on the counter. They continue making dinner. Everyone eats. Everyone cleans up. Oh, there's a piece of paper on the counter. It goes to the trash. Now it's gone. So they saw it, they liked it, but they probably didn't take any action to make sure that they actually follow through on it. With the BoomerangMe platform, with those reminders, it doesn't matter when I see it. I'm going to get those little reminders that say, hey, your coupon expires in 2 days. Hey, don't forget, tomorrow your coupon expires. Come in and get that free, whatever it is, the promotion. So reminders are vital for them. And painting that picture that solves that pain point and that stretches their advertising dollar really hits that home for them. So we're touching on those pain points. Now, remember, with the stories I'm telling, I'm not focusing on the technology. I'm focusing with these stories on real life pains and how it gets solved. So make sure that you're giving those stories, right? Also, it allows them, like we were talking earlier, it allows those special promotions that we can now track. So now as a business owner, we can make those decisions. I shared that story earlier where if you advertise here and here, now they can, through clear data, decide where to move their money. Birthday rewards. Oh my gosh, there's so much within the BoomerangMe platform to help with that automation process. And then it really does have how should I word this? Like actionable business insight. So right inside the dashboard of BoomerangMe, I love how the focus on when this was developed was on simplicity. The important information is displayed, but it's displayed in a way that anyone without a marketing background can see the data and know what it means and interpret it. And so I tell them exactly that. We designed this dashboard for the non-marketer, okay? Because many times in POS systems and a lot of different systems, they hop in there and most of this data information totally goes, this way, goes over their heads, right? Kind of glosses over their eyes, so they don't even pay attention to that information. Well, we're really focused on making this information accessible wherever they are in that realm. Now, if they keep scrolling down, they can get some pretty detailed information, but the must-know stuff is at the very top, and it's very easy to interpret. I always love to share, though, too. Again, I love to lean in when I love something, right? And I want to share something with them. I share that story of, my favorite feature of the dashboard is at the very top. It's this green bar that goes across the top, and for every $1 you're spending with me, it will report how much your money you're making back in return for that. And then I explain, if that's ever not a profitable number, we need to make a change, an adjustment, because that means your loyalty program is not resonating with your customer base. So that just is an indicator that we need to make adjustments to make improvements. So again, that I don't tell them that tells me that you can cancel your subscription. I want to paint that picture that, we're now making decisions based on data, and now we can make some changes, right? And so it, again, puts them back into that role of being in control of their business. Okay. So that, I hope, was helpful for you. Focusing on those pain points, not the feature. So in order to do that, we have to have that strong understanding about what are their pain points. So I hope that sharing my examples on ways that I word those different stories, feel free to use some of those, is helpful for you as you go to talk with different business owners on our journey. So yeah, thank you so much.